Hello, sir. I am Vedanta Manoj, the team lead in making this business plan for our startup, Kisanwala. These are my teammates. We have collectively worked on this innovative idea in making farmers' lives better. So, this is our company, Kisanwala. Our motto is Happy Farmer and Healthy Food. What we do is, we are an agriculture product exporting company. We buy products from farmers and sell them in different areas where the demand is high. The way we buy from farmers is that we initially give profit to them and buy the product, and depending upon the demand in the market, we sell it there where it is high. So this all we monitor in our website, and we help farmers leading a better life. We give employment to the farmers family as local shopkeepers in our company, and we provide a platform for farmers to sell their product across the country and get a very high demand. The sole aim of our project is to create a faithful platform for farmers and company. Then they can sell their product at very ease. Our startup envisions to make agricultural market fairer and equitable for farmers, making it worth their while. So we have our own cold storage systems where we store in the uh, product from farmers and sell it to the places on during high demand. We have this proper logistic facility where we reach on time, and our mission is to create a startup that provides logistical and storage support to farmers in helping and finding buyers who across the country who could easily get product. So and we would like to balance both the ends, like keeping happy farmers as well as providing proper food to the people. Yeah, this is the basic idea. And now I would like my friend Tarush to explain on the logistics and operations part in detail. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir. My name is Tarush Vadva, registration number 18BIT0312. In our company, I am responsible for the operations department. And today I'll be discussing the operations overview, and I'll be speaking about the product flow as well as the logistics model that our company is following. I'll start with the delivery flow, sir. So first and foremost, the harvest that is produced by the farmers is delivered to the cold storages that have been set up in cities, and this will be there. The products will be sent to the closest cold storage from their agricultural area. They have to get in touch with the regional manager and their respective team, and the goal of this team is to optimize this transportation as much as possible. Once the products have been received in that particular cold storage, they'll be segregated and then will be delivered to the customers who have placed the order for those products. There will also be there might be some products that are still fresh and of high quality but have not been ordered by the customers. So these products will be sent back to the farmers. They'll be distributed amongst the locations of these different farmers to ensure that even the farmers in the local areas get access to a wide variety of products that have been produced all over the nation. Coming to the customer side flow, the customers can interact with us through our website. They can access the website and look at the catalog of our products and the various products that our company offers for delivery. They can then place their order. Once the order has been placed, the request is received by the closest cold storage plant. And a delivery schedule is generated and guaranteed by the website to the customers, and the customers will be able to track their order through this delivery schedule. Once the order has been received by the customers, the finalizations of the order, like the confirmation and any payment that is left, if it's cash on delivery, will be done, and they can then fill in the feedback form through our website itself. Coming to the farmer side flow, sir, this flow is a very basic and obvious flow. The farmers produce the harvest and the crops. They then keep a percentage of the products to sell locally and send the remaining products to the cold storage plant, the nearest cold storage plant. The percentage that they've kept with themselves, as well as all the products that they receive back from the cold storages, as we have discussed in the delivery flow, they can then sell locally or use them for themselves. And so the purpose of having these two different sources of the products is to give them two different sources of income, and to uplift their lifestyle and help them grow out of their financial struggles and live happy lives. The logistics model that we're following is displayed over here, sir. So it starts from the bottom, which is closer to our company. And once we move to the top, we are interacting with the customers. So the IT service, the bottom level has three major aspects. The IT service providers, the suppliers, as well as the business process management. The business process management is our company's management, the employees who are working, who are managing the cold storage plants and the transportation and everything. The suppliers are the farmers who produce the products, and the IT service providers are the companies who we have collaborated with for advanced technology and high-end machinery to be set up in the cold storages. Coming to the 4PL model, the second stage of the logistics model, this is where inside the cold storages and all the workers, all the employees, all the labor is responsible for optimizing the cold storage process as soon as possible, and ensuring high quality of our products, as well as high segregation based on the respective orders, and even the high-end technology like machine learning and artificial intelligence is deployed in these cold storages. Coming to the final stage of the logistics model, the 3PL model, the logistics service providers, which are basically the our truck drivers, our delivery boys, be it for the trucks or bikes or campers or whatsoever, they are responsible for taking the products from the cold storage to the customers. So this is the basic logistics model that we're following. One final thing that I would like to discuss, sir, is the labor. Now, apart from the employees who are working in our management and the teams of the regional managers in the agricultural areas, we will need the local labor to work in the cold storages. Although we are deploying high-end machinery and advanced technology to automate most of the operations of the cold storage, we will definitely need people, we will definitely need the local labor to run these machines and test them and make sure that they're working all right. So for this, we will need to train them and educate them. And that's why I have also included, as you can see, the total cost of training. The number of labor per cold storage is 20. The number of cold storages initially that we will be launching our company with is 4. The cost of educating and training each individual is approximately 10,000 rupees. This includes the training that is offered by the companies who we are collaborating with, as well as certain courses and books and the other such material. So the total cost of training comes to 8 lakhs. So this is the operations overview, and now Tanish will discuss some certain more parts of the operations. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir. My name is Tanish Vashne, registration number 18BME0559. In my company, I will be seeing operation department alongside Darsh Wadhwa. Today, I will be giving an operational overview on transport and storage model. Now, I would begin with the storage model of our company. We are using cold storage plants to maintain, store, and dispatch our products to the customers. After purchasing the goods from the customers, we analyze the products from the different locations and segregate the product based on the delivery location demands using technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learning. After segregating the products, then they are dispatched to their respective delivery trucks to transport them to the delivery location site. After transferring at the delivery location site, then they are transferred through delivery guys to the customers. As we can expect some of the orders getting cancelled, then they are transferred back to our cold storage site, where they are reprocessed and maintained to ensure a better quality of our products. And the feedbacks from our customers helps us optimize our storage and delivery system. Now I would like to move on to the transport part of our company. The major task of our transport is to transport the goods from farmer to cold storage and from cold storage to customers. We will be assigning drivers to a particular area of our location, and this is done to reduce the work hours of our drivers and keep the delivery routes optimized. And we also intend to promote a good quality of living and work-life balance for all of our employees. As I previously mentioned, there can be some products getting transferred back to the our delivery to the cold storage location site. This is done ensure that no product is kept in our cold storage for a long time, as quality is highest important in our services. As after reprocessing of those products, then they are transferred back to their original source and are sold to them to generate some extra cash flux. And this gives us a higher productivity in our services. And we are there is a cold storage location under a 5 km radius to ensure a better efficient and transport quality of our system. And at the starting, we will be using campers to transport to our customers, and it will be started in a small number of cities so we can carry out our necessary services efficiently and successfully. Now I will move on to the logistic model part of our company. As you can see, like there are IT service providers which will help us in giving the input of our maintaining the website, and suppliers will be our farmers, and business process management which will be handled by our company. And supply chain management, all the cold storage location area will come under the 4PL, and we will have some consultancy services to maintain our cold storage location and to improvise upon them. And third-party logistics systems we will use to deliver it to our customers, like delivery guys and the campers. Now I will move on to the competitive analysis part. We have taken certain parameters for our competitive analysis, and the major competitors for our company are Big Basket, Groupers, Nature Basket, Freakywear, and Geomart, and other companies and etc. Thank you.
My name is Sedwan KJ, and I'm in charge of the marketing sector of our agriculture exporting company, Kisanwala. First, I'd like to talk about our target market. People are most willing to buy our products if the prices are cheaper and the quality is better. This means that our market is not restricted to any particular group of customers. The company has two channels of product delivery to the customers. One is via the website and the other is via tie-ups with supermarkets and local stores. Initially, the website channel will be made available only on the urban areas. Next, I'd like to talk about the target customers. We have divided our market into urban and rural for efficient outreach and to ensure that the maximum product delivery takes place. As we know, urban people have a busy schedule, and because of this, most of them prefer eating from their office canteens and outside fast food restaurants. To ensure the maximum profit from urban areas, we plan on supplying these restaurants with our products. The dine-out nature of the urban folks means that we have less customer to directly reach to. But instead of ignoring them completely, what we have done is we will be deploying the e-commerce website on these areas so that we can also attend to their needs. For the customers in rural areas, we'll be focusing on supermarkets and local stores. We also plan on opening our own stores in our rural areas. This will ensure maximum product delivery, as well as these stores can double down as cold storage facilities for further expansion into the remote areas. The products we'll be focusing will be the ones that are in high demand but is not cultivable in a particular area. Here we have a report from Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. This shows that the food prices in urban areas rose by 7.07%, whereas in rural areas it's only by 0.85%. And because of this, our products will be priced higher in the urban areas. However, our products will always be below the current market prices. Moving on to market research and analysis. We have a report here which shows a CAGR of 4.9% in the subsequent years. This will open up more market room which we will be using to our benefit. The COVID lockdown has also impacted the pricing and the availability of products. This is due to the disruption of the supply chains. If we capitalize on the price hike by lowering the pricing, we can get new customers. But the aggressive pricing should be carried out only after ensuring that the profit earned will be sufficient to sustain the company. Here we have two reports from Niti Aayog which shows the projected demand and the supply in the following years. It shows that the supply for pulses and oilseeds are low. This means that we will be focusing more on these two. But even though the supply and demand for cereals and vegetables are met, we often hear about food shortages in many areas. This is due to the loss of food due to lack of efficient distribution and storage facilities. As a survey done by the National Academy of Agricultural Sciences, the losses are at about a 15%. We can tackle this using our efficient distribution and cold storage facilities network. Next is the marketing plan and strategy. Our operation consists of two sections. One is the end buyers, which will be our customers. The other will be the farmers, whom we will be working with. We have to attend to both of these sections. Since most of the farmers are small scale and have very little access to social media and modern means of communication, here we will be reaching to them by leaflets in newspapers, ads in local channels and radio, door-to-door advertising. We will also launch awareness camps in villages to introduce our services. For the customers, we will be giving ads in newspapers, TV channels, billboards, social media like Instagram and YouTube, etc. We will also appeal to them at an emotional level by pushing our farmer-oriented ideology and profit-sharing schemes. From common sense, people are attracted to cheap products, but in the current market scenarios, cheap products always compromise on the quality. Since our products will be of superior quality combined with cheaper prices, we can assure good customer influx and retention. The higher the number of farmers working with us means the more will be the potential for the company to grow. Since our company is customer oriented, we can assure that the farmers will be receiving maximum profit by working with us. This alone can be a reason for farmers to join. Moreover, there is no compulsory lock-in period for the company. Farmers can opt out of our services anytime they want. Now for addressing the rivals and the competition. We believe that the sole reason that our products offer superior quality in the cheapest prices possible will be enough for the customers to switch over to us. Since our pricing is aggressive, it will be near impossible for our rivals to replicate our results. Even if we face rivals later, our brand value by then will be strong enough to retain our customers and also to attract even more customers to our company instead of our rivals. These are the topics that I've worked on for the business model plan. I'd like to conclude by thanking my teammates as well as Sir for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, so it's 18BM0021, Tarun Sharma, and in review 1 and review 2, we covered ideas and the progress we made. And in review 3, we will discuss about the topic assigned by my team leader, unit value proposition. So these are some important questions and some terms that we will discuss in this topic. I'll look at that. Okay. So first of all, why our startup is different? Our startup is different as our main motive is to deliver fresh and non-adulterated grains to the customers in less prices compared to the market price in that area, and to provide a platform to the farmers who works on a very small scale, so consumers won't compromise with their health and also have grains in very affordable prices. We also tested these assumptions very frequently in order to get what our consumer wants. So we are providing farmer and consumers direct contact. So this chart explains direct contact between farmer and consumers, and this chart explains our backup and delivery process. So this is our product grains, and these are some features about it and why is it beneficial. Okay, so benefits. So we are providing a platform to small farmers in order to prevent their mental health and prevent them from being trapped in a loan. And we are buying in very less prices from small farmers and selling it to big cities in high prices comparing to the base cost, and selling in little less prices comparing to the current market cost. From this, we will have customers in good numbers as we are giving pure and non-adulterated goods and less prices too. So this table explains everything, like how we will work. Okay. So why is it profitable to customers? It is profitable as customers are facing these big problems right now. That it is estimated that 2 million death occurs every year from the contaminated food or drinking water. Consumers also buy products on very higher prices. So we are solving these two big problems. So it will attract the customers in large number. So why do we have advantage over competitors? We are just trying to eliminate our competition by providing better offers and better quality goods and less prices comparing to the other competitors. Plus, we are focusing on marketing strategy and worked on it very precisely, from which customers will be attracted towards us. We'll be supplying our goods to every small supermarket too. So people who trust supermarket more than a new brand will also consume our grains only. So in short, we aren't competing, rather we are eliminating our competitors. This is the main motive of ours. Okay. So what product and companies compete with us? Product we are competing is grains only. That's why we are directly competing with big brands, as poor people or middle class people hardly can afford products from these big brands. But still, they are running quite smoothly because of people who can afford, and people who are buying stuff from them is because of the quality of good they provide. So we also provide goods in very amazing quality, but where will be one step ahead is our green affordable to middle and poor class too. Though we are behind at level of advertising, because if we advertise at their level, the margin won't be left much, and we would have no opinion but to increase our prices that we don't want. So our product will take time, but surely we will advertise it. They will once we will make sure um, our position in our market ready. Okay, so companies we are competing with. These are three big brands, you may say three big companies who are just supplying most number of grains in every city. So we are competing with them. Okay. So the above following stated and proves that our brand is meaningful to customers and we give value proposition by providing all the benefits uh, of our product offers by describing what makes these benefits valuable, identify and solving customers' main problems, and connect this value of our buyers problem and differentiating ourselves from our other competitors. Okay, thank you so much.
Good evening, sir. I am Yaskia, 18BW0294 is my registration number. Sir, for the LSM project, I was a part of the marketing team, and I had my marketing team come up with a marketing strategy on how we're gonna advertise to consumers as well as farmers. So, for the consumers, we came up with a modern marketing strategy, such as we're gonna market via advertising on YouTube, Instagram, TV ads, newspaper ads, and to target our more rural, to target our the farmers who we're gonna get the product from. We thought of local radio ads, newspaper ads, and pamphlets in the newspaper. Apart from that, I also worked on the transportation strategy and how we're gonna transport our grains from the farmers to the cities. So initially, we came up with the idea that we would courier the grains until we were self-reliant, and later we would buy our own trucks and we would start using our own mode of transportation. Uh, I also have helped build the organizational chart for our organization. I have divided the responsibilities between the 5 departments that are human resources, finance, marketing, transportation, and IT. The responsibilities I gave human resources were to recruit, and basically the responsibilities of human resources are to communicate with the farmers and keep in touch with the farmers and look after how we're gonna coordinate with them and etc. Uh, Also, the business model score has been calculated by me for the W3. So the business model score basically tells us how feasible is our business on a scale of 1 to 100, and we got a 66 out of 100 in that score. So it tells us that our business is feasible, but unless we can find a sustainable way to increase our profit margins over the next couple of years, we may face difficulties unless we innovate. Unless we innovate. Yes, that's it. Thanks.
Hello, sir. I'm Vedanta Manoj, 18BME0637. I have worked for the finance department, but also made the value chain report. So this is the pricing model that I have made. Starting, we have selected a particular area and we'll set up our office. Then the representative will get there and get the values of the product. So this is how we have divided the profit among the farmers. So initially, wheat per kg, farmer is selling for 5 rupees. So we have initially given the profit of 2 rupees and we have bought it for 7 rupees. And the packaging cost is 3 rupees and the shipping cost is 10. And the total is here at 20. And we have taken a 5 rupees profit out of it and it is 25. So market price where the demand is high is 40. So we are selling it for 25 rupees and where the market price is 40. In this way, we have given farmer every profit at the initial stage itself. So per kg rice, as you can see here, it is 6 rupees. Whereas we have given 6, we have bought 6 plus 3, 9 rupees from farmers, and we have sold it for 25 rupees and including 3 rupees profit for our company. So here we are including profits to the farmers and also taking our profit. After finding the place of the market price, we set our values and sell in the market. So this is I have made a report on this, including wheat, chana, and all. Similarly, raw material price and the packaging price and the total amount. And this is the market price. Here we have the total amount of 29 rupees and the market price is 30 rupees. Similarly, for all this product, this graph we have I have made representing all market price and raw material cost and packing cost and also the shipping cost. The profit obtained is shared among us and farmers, and as we include farmers before profit beforehand. And this is the break-even analysis which I have performed, including the cost and volume. Whereas the break-even point here for this data came out to be 50 units. So according to this data, we have taken the variable expenses, fixed cost, total contribution margin, revenue, and the break-even points. Using the formula I have calculated manually, the same thing I have represented in graph. This straight line is the fixed cost of which is 1600 rupees, and this is the break-even point. After this, we will look at the after break-even point, whichever graph it goes, this comes down. So the point which is so the revenue you can see here is has a maximum area when plotted down. So considering that, we need to take the total expenses here, and as this prices increase in market, similarly the break-even points also change. This is a financials model, like what are the ways we will finance. One is bootstrapping, which is like our self funding, and the angel investors, the investors who would we would approach them, we would explain them and get money. These are the methods. And getting funds from relatives and crowdfunding. Crowdfunding we would like do with Wishberry. Wishberry is a very good crowdfunding company which is providing people with certain amounts, and they're helping us advertise in very good manner. And the banks, we can take loans from banks. The first startup is cost is high, initial cost is high, and the retail investors. These have knowledge about the company and what the place, particular place, so they'll be having non-professional and they have the knowledge. Coming to the value chain, this is the most crucial part in any startup. So without this value chain analysis, this is called as Michael Porter's value chain analysis. So it is divided into two parts: supporting activities and primary activities. So the primary activities have this inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, marketing, and service. So I have related this to our company in such a way that we have this real-time inbound and operations. Then what are the products we need to get it, and how we'll transport it, and the outbound logistics where we will take it, and how we'll sell in the market, and what are the services we can provide to the customers. We have developed this structure so that our complete startup holds a good shape. For this, the supporting activities: firm infrastructure, human resource management, technological development, and procurement. These primary activities support the are always supporting the supporting activities. So firm infrastructure. Suppose if we take entire firm, our startup, inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, everything comes under firm infrastructure. To maintain a proper firm infrastructure, we need to have the customer service response so that we can develop on our business and the sustainability can be maintained. So human resource management. This is one of the key factors which we are working. We know who to recruit and how to recruit, who are to employ. Our web development services, technological services. We have a website which we can use to develop our startup, and customers can also involve in it. Procurement of products. Obviously, we have to procure from the farmers and all. And now, Yamin, my friend Yamin, will explain on the cost report and balance sheet and total sales revenue. So, thank you, sir.
Hello everyone, my name is Yamin Zahoor. I'm part of the finance team, and the responsibilities we were given was to assess the viability of the business model plan, the revenue model, as well as the startup costs. They should be such that in the long term our startup is sustainable. So keeping in view all the constraints, all the ideations we did, so this is the, you could say, the overview of how our business will work. So it has four main components. I will just give you a brief overview of everything. So starting first off, we have the background assumptions. These are the market assumptions we have taken into consideration. What the central tax rate is, what the state tax rate we are going to operate in is going to be. Number of days of sales outstanding, we have to figure that out. Number of days payable, and the inventory also. Also the interest rate, we sometimes we need to expand, so for that we need credit. So credit needs to be available. So how to factor in those interest rates? So background assumptions basically set out those criteria for the overall viability of the business. Moving on, the investment, the seed capital we are targeting, and how we are going to effectively use that. So the second section deals with that. Moving on, the personal assumption. So we have the management, higher management, the CEO, CTO of the startup, and other affiliates we are going to use on field, business development, marketing, and sales. How we are going to compensate those. So this basically gives an overview of the salary we are going to give out, the compensation. Now coming on to the income statement. So we have divided it into two parts: revenue per employee and revenue per salesperson. We are going to have on the ground, who is going to be a liaison to the farmers, who are from whom we are going to procure the product. So this deals with that. So total revenue is cost of goods sold and other cost of goods sold, plus the business development, salaries, and benefits. So moving on, we have the gross income, the total cost of goods sold, and other such percentage of revenues that that we are going to incur as expenses. Moving on, the main part of the financial model is the balance sheet. How much assets we have, what's our liabilities, and this section deals with that. So these are not exact figures, but we are just assuming that these are conservative figures for other startups in our space, for whom the data is publicly available. and the last is the cash flow statement. So net cash flow from our operations. So this usually is used to figure out the valuation when startups are raising seed capital, and this is the summary. So moving on to the startup cost. So for our startup, uh, we have we have assumed that the branding, consultation, contingency reserve, the office space we are going to hire, as well as the warehouses we are going to rent out. The initial budget and the actual budget is going to be like this. So these are not accurate figures. Again, these are what the current market charges for these services. So we have two sections for this: variable expenses, which might pick up, and then we have fixed expenses. So this uh, fixed expenses includes the payroll, the supplies, the web hosting. Website is an important part of our business, so accounting fees and all that. So this was the revenue model and startup cost we are going to go along with.
Hello, I'm Umang Agarwal and my registration number is 18BC0572. So I will now be presenting my part of the work I did for this project. I was basically in charge of web development, how our customers might interact with us, and the analysis of the analytics of our website. So basically, I have developed this website. When a user lands on our website, they can, after they view our homepage, they can read all about us. They can check out our products, the main products, and what prices we accept for each and every state. Next, they can read about our objectives and they can reach out to us. Now, if a person wants to order something from our company, they have to fill this particular form. We have used Firebase as our database, which is a free database, and I'll delete all these entries we used for testing. And let's see, we have 3 entries over here. I'll delete 2 and keep the other 2. I'll now try to fill out this entry. What we need from a person trying to contact us is their name, their email ID, their mobile numbers, subject of their query, which could be gibberish, and their queries in details. I'll enter some gibberish over here and then end with so after this, when I click send, all this data has reached us and we give an alert telling the user that we have received their response. Now we also have our footer right over here, and as you can see, we've received the data in our database. This is the data this is the gibberish we filled right now. So we can check daily and we can check this page out every day, and we can also delete the entries we have responded to, or we can keep them intact. It won't matter a lot. Now going to the analytics part, over here we have the dashboard. We can, once this page loads, you can check out how many people opened our website till now, and how many open it every day, from which places, from which devices, and many other analytics. This shows one person has opened the website because I just opened it right now, and 2 users in the last 30 minutes because I opened this website twice. Okay, and I have used Firebase as a free hosting service, free database, and this also provides a hosting service which I haven't used for our project. And For the hosting and domain names, we have used Netlify, which is another free host. Now you can also check this website out by entering this particular URL, and we will be providing this URL in our BMP document if you want to check it out later. Thank you.
So this is all about our business plan as explained by my teammates. Summing up, our startup Kisanwala ensures farmers' happiness. We buy their products, giving them profit, and sell the products where the demand is high. There are several factors that keep our startup successful. First thing is the use of cutting edge technology. We used artificial intelligence monitored cold storage systems, which ensures proper quality of products. Secondly, we have provided job facilities to the local farmers to work in our cold storage systems. Thirdly, the delivery system is very sharp. It delivers on time, providing no regrets to the customers. Customers can easily communicate to us through the website. All the data stored in the website are continuously modified and are easily accessible, which helps us in assessing the prices of any products. As we say, farmers are backbone to our country. We should help them in all possible ways to ensure a happy life for them. And that's what we do. As our slogan says, happy farmers, healthy food. We follow that to keep our farmers alive in our society. Hope you liked our video and hope you liked our startup idea. Thank you very much.